Hello there. We're here to talk about Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I mean, if you're watching this, watching a Star Trek YouTube video, you probably already know about this film, let's be honest. This one is probably the one of the most iconic films, quite one of the most well-known films. It's definitely considered one of the best films overall. It's considered one of the best TOS films, though I'd argue maybe 4 is better, but maybe just me. We'll see when I get to 4. I need to rewatch it because it's been a little bit. It's been a few years since I've watched Star Trek 4 again, but I definitely always liked 4. But that's, some people. I think some people like the more action of 2, some people like the more comedy of 4. Swings and roundabouts. But yeah, Star Trek 4, at least for me, Star Trek 2, at least for me, was kind of a bit of a whiplash, because when I first watched it, because I think I watched it almost back to back with the motion picture, and I didn't realise that this film is supposed to be about, I think, 10, 12 years later. Like, there's a huge gap in time between, not in real life, but in universe, that it's supposed to be quite a bit of time between the last film and this film. Which is why everyone has all brand new uniforms, which are such a huge improvement of the previous uniforms. I mean, everyone loves Wrath of Khan uniforms, and I'm sorry, but I don't think anyone likes the uniforms from the motion picture. They are kind of disgusting. They wanted to move away from primary colors that the original series had, and went, cool, everything can be brown. Everything can be brown. This is the 70s. Everything now must be brown. Whereas now everything is red. Everyone wears kind of the same uniform. There's just a little kind of strip there that signifies different ranks and different departments. You have different colors on a kind of little strap thing. I think almost everyone loves the kind of Wrath of Khan uniforms. There's a reason why these uniforms stick around for all the TOS movies, and then are kind of used in rotation and a lot of other stuff when they want to do flashbacks in at least in TNG. I know Picard is supposed to have worn one back in the academy, stuff like that. But yeah, they're awesome uniforms. And yeah, I love the intro of this film. We start off with a bunch of trainees on kind of the Enterprise with our regular crew, and they basically almost all the crew get killed. As almost kind of fun way to. They're basically kind of a simulation, but they're doing the Kobayashi Maru, which is referenced quite a few times in Star Trek. And a lot, especially in the new modern era, they definitely like to reference the Kobayashi Maru a lot of times. It's great, and it kind of establishes that it's a no-win scenario, and it kind of establishes that Kirk kind of cheated. Which I swear I remember people when watching the 2009 film got annoyed that Kirk cheated, and they're like, did you not watch Wrath of Khan? That he said he cheated. He changed the program. It is established in that. I honestly feel like people were complaining. I'm like, what? But he said in the original film where that is established, he cheated. It is a thing in canon. But yeah. And we get introduced to the USS Reliant, which is on a mission. Where's the mission? Oh yeah. They're basically trying to find search for a lifeless planet for the Genesis device. And they try to go to one planet, which they think... yeah, SETI Alpha 6. I've got this in front of me so I can refresh my memory, because I'm like, yeah, SETI Alpha 6, but it's actually SETI Alpha 5. And we meet Khan, who apparently knows Chekhov, which is a point of contention that apparently pretty much everyone knew. So, this is a sequel to Space Seed, an episode in the first season of TOS. The first season did not have Chekhov. He is a character that was introduced in the second season. Someone's like, well, yeah, there's a few explanations. The main one being that, yeah, Chekhov was always on the Enterprise. It just, yeah, it was in a lower position at the time, which I think is probably one of the best explanations. I know, like, basically everyone knew. Walter Koenig knew that he obviously wasn't in that episode, but he wasn't going to argue it because he was like, I want a fucking great role where I go against Khan. But yeah, I think even it says the director knew. Everyone knew. But they went ahead of it anyway, and so we just kind of have to slightly retcon it. Yeah, just to find a good explanation of why that happened, which is fine. And then they get brainworms. They control their minds. So they go steal the Genesis device. Go steal that Genesis device, which is worked on by a former lover of Kirk and Kirk's son, which we didn't know existed until this very film. Kirk is kind of dealing with getting old, basically. Just getting old. Getting old, he needs glasses now. Hard times being Kirk. Yeah. So I'm just like looking at stuff, and yeah, basically, they find out about it. Kirk finds out there's something skew-iff about this, and basically takes the Enterprise to go look, even though it's full of trainees, but they were like the only ship around, which is always the weird thing in TOS. Depending on the story, they have a fucking million ships, or they have like one. It's just so many times where it's like, yeah, we got like one over there. Sometimes it's like, yeah, we got like 10 ships, 10, 100, whatever, fuck it. Ships. Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, we find out that basically Khan has kind of stolen it. His whole thing was, so he's trying to remember it. It's Chekhov and the captain of the Reliant, which I'm blanking on his name, or the character's name. Does it have a hair? No, here we go. Clark Terrell is the captain of the Reliant, who's basically been brain controlled, and they kind of tricks them. They basically assume that they are not being controlled, and they are. So they kind of trick them. They go, haha! But then the captain ends up killing himself. Because he doesn't want. He's trying to fight the worm, and yeah, just ends up like going, well, fuck this. Because he doesn't want to like shoot Kirk. And Chekhov kind of has the same problem, but doesn't end up shooting himself. The worm just kind of comes out and goes, ugh, had enough of that brain. No thanks, mate. Climbs out the ear. Kind of goes, no thanks, I'm out. And yeah, I think. Oh yeah, because when they first meet the ship, the ship 2 meets. Can't speak. The 2 ships meet. They basically, slightly before this, is where the ships meet, and the Reliant kind of is quiet, because they're like, aha, we're gonna be quiet and not reveal anything, and they basically fire on the Enterprise to be like, haha, yeah, because you don't expect another Federation ship to fire on you. Yeah. But don't worry, the Enterprise has the command codes for the Reliant, which I'm not sure if it's a thing that comes up later. I think I might do in an episode or two where like they have the command codes. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, pew pew was happening in space. So it is a funny thing of like Kirk and Khan never actually meet at all in this entire film. They're never face to face. Yeah, pew pew's in space. Khan is clearly just like obsessed with taking down Kirk. It's all he gives a shit about. Honestly, all he gives a shit about is defeating Kirk, which is evident by at least one of his main crew just like going, "Stop it, stop it, stop it. We have a really cool weapon. We can stop it, stop it, stop going after Kirk." But he's just basically obsessed, and follows Kirk, and they get into a whole pew pew battle. Pew pew. Khan unleashes the Genesis device on a planet. But it's perfectly fine. Anyway, it's on a... I was in the Reliant. No, so it gets activated on the Reliant, doesn't it? And the Reliant crashes down. Or does it get teleported away? I'm getting confused. It was a week ago since I watched it. I should have done this earlier. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Pew pews happen. And the Genesis then basically ends up getting enabled on a planet. The Enterprise gets super fucked over. And Spock risks his life to basically he sacrifices his life to stop the radiation from killing everyone else. But before he does, he puts his mind Ketra into McCoy. Because we're gonna set up for the next movie. Spoilers. Basically, Kirk dies. McCoy dies. No, he didn't die. What am I saying? Khan dies. The Reliant basically gets destroyed. Spock dies, sacrificing himself, and they have a whole funeral. They throw Spock onto the Genesis planet. Nothing, of course, will happen in any relation of this. Don't worry about it. Don't question it. And then everyone goes on about the journey, and we get the kind of the intro talk from Spock of space, the final frontier, which is nice. But yeah, we get the classic moment of "I have been and always will be your friend." But yeah, I mean, this film is it's one of those things where it's like this film is just so good. It honestly is. It's just it is such a good film. I love it, and it is such a markable improvement over like the motion picture, which was boring as fuck. Like, honestly, it just is so slow and nothing happens in the motion picture. Oh, and yeah, that's why we have the director Nicholas Meyer. Will return for, I know, Star Trek 6. I can't remember if he's... Leonard Nimoy does 3. Shatner does 5. Can't remember if he returns for 4. He might return for 4. Nicholas Meyer. Sorry, I'm just looking at his... Hey, he co-wrote the screenplay for Star Trek 4. I think he's a producer for a few of the films. Yeah, he's a writer for Star Trek 4, but not the director, which I think was Leonard Nimoy again. I think. Just double checking. Yes, it was. Okay. Yeah, definitely. He wrote and directed Star Trek 6. India's responsible for a lot of it. A lot of the TOS movies going forwards. Did some writing in there. Harv Bennett, who wrote this film, also wrote someone's film. He just gives me his filmography. I'm like, and just gives him his acting roles. I'm like, that's great. I kind of want the writing. But he's a producer on quite a few of the TOS films. Producer, writer. So basically, the people that wrote these films will show up for a lot of other films. Because this one was quite successful. And that's why they should count everyone who was everyone behind the scenes on the motion picture. Because it wasn't. That's why they put like Gene Roddenberry into a position of just like, yeah, I mean, you have kind of no power, but yeah, anyway. Yeah. Honestly, this is such a good movie. I think one of my favorite things is the music. The music is just so good. Almost every bit. I gotta listen to the soundtrack all day. It's by James Horner, who, yeah, is some of the best music. We get Khan back. I love me some Khan. He was so cool. And just that has that kind of presence. I would have liked to see have him roam the Enterprise, I guess, but yeah, it's a ship battle. Yeah, I think they were going to want to go for very much like a submarine battle of kind of not knowing where the others is. I mean, well, yeah, what can I fucking say? It's Wrath of Khan. Everyone knows Wrath of Khan's good. Like, everyone fucking loves Wrath of Khan. Like, who doesn't like Wrath of Khan? Like, who? I mean, yeah, actually, you know what? Since we're going to end this, let me know what you think of Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. If you don't like it, please let me know why. Why don't you like it? I'd like to know. I'm curious. Very curious. Yeah, it is honestly one of the most iconic Star Trek films. It has Khan in it. I mean, you know, Khan is iconic and he's only been in... spoilers. I guess it's spoilers for a later film. He's in Star Trek 12. Yeah, Star Trek 12. Unfortunately, yeah, played by... Benedict Cumberbatch was not a good fit to play Khan. I'm just saying. You need someone with a physical... yeah, kind of dominating physically and just... Yeah, no, that doesn't work. Nah. Yeah, I mean, Khan has only appeared in, in one episode of this movie, and let's just ignore Star Trek Into Darkness, shall we? Yeah. We'll get to that at some point. Yeah, well, like what can I say? Everyone knows this film's good. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to sign off. And next week we'll be talking about Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. So hopefully I'll see you there. But for now I say, live long and prosper.